So now we're going to go into how to optimize your profile to beat 90% of your competition. We're going to touch on the name of your Google Business Profile, the services listed, the description. We're going to go over attributes. We're also going to go over your photos, your hours, reviews. We're going to go into a full teardown. So now, of the 14,000 flooring contractors we analyzed in Florida, only 26% of them had their profile fully optimized. Nearly half of the flooring profiles are moderate or bare. So simply by completing our profile gets us in those top echelons and gets us ranking higher, is going to get you more leads than your competition. So this is what a done profile will look like. So it needs to have your service area listed. You need to do a real description. And when you go to fill out your description, it needs to have all 750 characters filled. You need a ton of services on your profile, and we'll go over how to do that. Then you also need to make sure your hours are filled. Do not lie about these. If you lie and say that you're a 24-hour service area or a 24-hour business and Google calls you, there is a risk of suspension. Then we need to work on getting lots of reviews. So about half of all the flooring contractors profiles in Florida's have a keyword in their name. So like as an example, what we can do is we can do Sunshine State hardwood flooring. Or we could do like a sub variation of that, right? Let's say I'm Charles Flooring, right? We want to make sure that that keyword flooring is in the business name. Or let's say you're not really fond of carpet, you'd much do like LVP or hardwood. You can absolutely do Charles hardwood installation. The other thing is that let's say that your business name currently doesn't have a keyword in it. What you can go do is file a do business as with the state for like $40. And then you can change the name of your profile to match that do business as name so that you can get a keyword in there. So when we went to and analyzed 14,000 of these flooring contractor businesses in Florida, 77% of them had their description filled in. So we need to be having our description filled in as well. Now, when we went and analyzed 14,000 of these Google business profiles for flooring contractors in Florida, 5,135 of them had the service install flooring. Then we have another service here, tile work installation. We've got remodeling and repair flooring. So when we averaged out these 14,000 Google business profiles that we looked at, the average profile lists 25 services. And there was one that listed 709 different services on its profile. Now, a common thing that I see people say is that you can over optimize your profile. There's these hidden rules that govern how much to put on your profile, how much you're allowed to put on your website, the amount of your keyword frequency, as an example, people will say, or the keyword density, or the amount of times you're allowed to use the keyword. And more often than not, what we can do is we can go and search our keyword, right? So we can go and search flooring contractor, and we can find these profiles. We can find these websites that break all of these rules that are set by these people or by people that are in the SEO communities, right? And so what I harp on a lot is that what we want to do is we actually want to search in Google for our keyword and see what is actually currently ranking, not our bias or what we think should be ranking or what are ranking factors. Google is going to tell you what ranking factors are, like currently, and which ones you want to prioritize just by searching our term. Google is going to tell you because when we go to search our term, we're going to see what's currently ranking. And so we can take that information from the search results page, use it to our advantage to actually know what it takes to be currently ranking. not our biases or what we've been told by others. When you go to list these services on your Google Business Profile, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're listing every like flooring type, right? We want to do variations. So we want to do hardwood install as an example. We want to do hardwood repairs, hardwood refinishing, tile repairs, tile installation, tile installer. We want to use these variations and the top level keyword of the product or the service that we do because not everyone searches the same. So what can happen is that because we put these additional keyword variations, we can pick up other search terms that people aren't targeting because they are targeting just the top level keyword on their services on their Google Business Profile. Now, of the 14,000 Google Business Profiles of flooring contractors in Florida that we looked at, 29% of them have 0 services listed on their profile. And as we look through all of this data, if you list 10 services, you beat 50% of your competition. If you list 15 services, you beat 60% of your competition. And so, like, just even having a short list of services on your profile moves you up quickly. Now, after we've listed the service on our Google Business Profile, what we need to then do is go and write a 2 to 3 sentence description on each. When we went and analyzed 14,000 flooring contractor Google Business Profiles in Florida, 16% of them write any service description. So if we go on our Google Business Profile and we put a description in our services, we're instantly in the top 16%. So that means if we go and put a description on all of our services, we're instantly in above 84%, or we're at 84% relative to our competition. So another thing on the profile we need to be doing is we need to be filling out everything, even the attributes. Of the 14,000 flooring contractor Google Business Profiles we looked at in Florida, only 57% fill in the attributes. So when you go to fill out your Google Business Profile, we need to make sure that you're ticking off these little boxes because they count. So your payments you take, right? Do you take credit cards? Do you take checks? Do you take cash? Then you need to do the accessibility. What are your parking options? Is it free parking? If I'm in a wheelchair, can I get into your facility? Do you have wheelchair accessible parking? Service options. And what's interesting is that most people skip this when it's just simply hitting a yes, no, or a little checkbox on the profile. So next, what we need to be doing on our profile is that we need to take photos of the jobs that we complete. Of the 14,000 profiles we looked at, 94% of them had photos. So what we need to do is we need to stand out with volume and we need to push to 100 photos. So we need to take finished job photos because what happens is that Google will go and read the photos. And when I say read, what I mean is that Google will go and look over the photos and then catalog them based on what it found in the photo. And so what this shows to us is that Google goes and looks over the photos and sees what's inside of them. And so this is an extremely important thing that we need to be doing because it's another signal that we tell Google like, hey, we do hardwood flooring installations. Go look at all these photos. Google's like, oh, I have a catalog full of your photos. Yeah, you do hardwood installation flooring. So when someone searches for hardwood floor or hardwood installation services near me or hardwood installer near me, we're going to make sure you're up there with them. And we're going to make sure you're ranking higher. Now, something else that photos do for your Google Business Profile is that I like to think of it as a billboard. It kind of sets expectations. When I was looking over the reviews of one of the profiles I manage, someone had left a review that they were a little hesitant to come and visit the facility because of the photos. And what I thought was really weird about that is I know the facility is nice. I know the owner personally, and I've seen photos on the inside of it. But because there weren't enough photos or there wasn't enough evidence on our billboard, our Google business profile, they were a little hesitant to come. Now, in the latter half of that review, they're like, we're glad we came because it is an awesome facility. We had a great time. This just shows that we need to be setting the example. We need to set expectations on the profile with finished jobs, with finished photos of the things that we do, of our trucks, of us, to show people when they search in Google and they see our profile that we offer quality service. And not only does that, but it's going to build trust in those people so that they call your business. They're like, hey, I need a hardwood floor installed. So what we need to do is we need to make sure we're taking plenty of photos and adding them to our profile after every job. Now, the number one setting on your Google business profile is the primary category you set. If you set this wrong, you will not show up for the search terms you want to rank for. What you need to do is you need to match what your top level service is to the category you select. Your main category needs to be your number one service, and then everything below that, all your other services, need to be added as additional categories. Now, there are some other boxes or some other sections, some fields on the Google business profile nobody fills. Only 65% of the 14,000 Google business profiles that we looked at of flooring contractors in Florida list a website. Now, 97% of them have a phone number listed on there, which is great. But what we need to be doing is we need to make sure we have our website listed. And then there's an appointment link that Google lets you set. This appointment link doesn't have to point to an appointment setting software. You can literally just put your contact page or your home page in that little field on your Google business profile. So the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we're listing all the social profiles we have. So all the social media profiles we've got of, like, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You want to make sure that you're listing your Pinterest, and then you want to make sure you're listing your LinkedIn. Every single one that you have and that Google allows needs to be on your profile. Now, another portion of the profile we need to be filling out is we need to fill out our hours, and do not lie about your hours on your profile. If you lie about your hours and Google calls, or let's say you have a physical verified address and someone's driving to your location, but you're not actually open, this is how you accumulate these random 1-star reviews for no reason. And if Google calls your profile when you say you're open and you're not open, this could risk your profile being suspended. So be truthful. List all the hours for all your days. If you're closed on a day, just list that you're closed. So now for reviews, we analyzed 14,000 Google business profiles of flooring contractors in Florida. And to beat over half of them, all you have to do is get 25 reviews. If you get to 50 reviews on your Google business profile, you're past 85% of those 14,000 Florida flooring contractors. So after every job that's done, we need to make sure that we're asking for reviews. And we also need to make sure that it's super easy for them. What we need to do is we need to send them the review link, or you need to have a QR code. We don't want them struggling to figure out how to get a review on your profile. We need to make it as seamless and easy for them as possible. What you can also do is, with the review link that you send them, it will auto-populate the little window that they need to fill out. So instead of them having to click write a review, you can send them the exact URL to where when they load it up, it'll boom, pop up, and there'll be a little card there. And it's like, leave a review, and it'll have the stars and it'll have the little section for them to write a description. So now, here's how you beat 90% of the 14,000 Google business profiles we looked at in Florida for flooring contractors. First, you need to write a business description. Remember, you need to have 750 characters listed on that description. Then we need a full list of 15 plus services on our profile. Then thirdly, we need to then go and add a description on all of those services, and that will instantly put you above 90% of those 14,000 profiles in Florida. So just a little recap on how to optimize your Google business profile. We need to make sure we have a keyword in our name, and it needs to be our real business name. We need to add a business description, so we need to fill in all 750 characters. Then we need to list 15 plus services and put a description on each one. We need to make sure that our Google business profile has the right category, attributes, it has tons of photos, and then the hours are honest. Next, we want to make sure that we're listing all of our social profiles, so YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. And then after that, we need to push to those 100 reviews, because once we hit 50 reviews on our profile, we're already in the top 85%.